back here on the Two Real Buds podcast. We got a pretty good episode coming for you guys today. Of course, as many of you most know, this past week we had a horrible tragedy in Parkland, Florida, in the mass shooting. So we're going to be doing a reaction to that today. And before we get this episode started, I just wanted to say that this episode is 110% dedicated to the victims and the victims' family of that horrific tragedy. Something needs to be done to protect the children, our children of America. We are not going to be mentioning the shooter's name. I feel like other media outlets have done that so far. I've done that a lot so far. I don't believe that coward deserves any attention whatsoever. And one of the reasons he committed that horrific shooting is because he wanted attention. So we're not going to be giving him attention at all today. This episode is solely for the victims of Parkland, Florida. So Tony, I'm gonna immediately bring you in on this. What was your initial reaction coming in as soon as you found out about 17 kids being gunned down in Florida? Yet again another mass shooting here in the United States.
Yeah, I got home. I think I was here for a little bit. Showed up, hung out, and my sister was actually at school, like in college,
Mm-hmm.
and I pulled it up on my phone. It was just one of those big blimps that I get from my apps, and like the first thing I thought was like,
Again,
like why are people choosing children? Like, why are they the targets? Like, one of the few things like I felt in school was safe. I never once felt like somebody's going to show up and just start shooting. And then Sandy Hook happened, and Columbine was a big tragedy before, but I never.
Columbine definitely set the stage for mass shootings, and it seems
But
like
the thing is, it was never a prevalent thing that just seemed to happen every year. After Sandy Hook, it almost feels like every year you have a massive shooting that involves children.
yeah, it seems like recently it's been a big thing, and it's something that definitely needs to be talked about, and that's why we're here. Definitely here. I know me and you, before this happened, right after we released the Drunken Disorderly episode, we definitely were writing other things, and then we found out about it, and we immediately agreed that, hey, this is something that we need to immediately do, is something that we immediately need to talk about, and quite frankly, it has me quite pissed off. I don't like to use our podcast to talk about things like this, but it's something that has to be talked about. The victims deserve it. It's horrific. It's despicable. It like I said, it really pisses me off. We're talking about gun control and mental illness, and it's just like, yeah, those are factors, but it's the fact that nobody. It seems, I'm not gonna say nobody, but it seems like as we go through the years and more as we grow as a society in modern day and modern generation, that people are starting to lose the value of life, and it's really concerning.
Definitely, dude. I think in this age of social media, in this age of, you don't need to have this person-to-person interactions anymore. You can do everything through your phone, essentially, or through your computer. And that almost dehumanizes the person itself, I think. It's one of those things, like, you lose this value of everyday life
Mm-hmm.
because you don't go out and make as many friends. Like, when I was a kid, my parents didn't let me play that much PlayStation. I had a PlayStation 2 in kindergarten. I never played it. I didn't start really playing it till maybe second or third grade when Battlefront 2 came out. And even then, I didn't play it often. Most of my time was dedicated to, recreational sports, baseball, football, going
Same.
out in the neighborhood,
Having friends, having a social
friends,
life.
like, you ride your bike, you see your buddies, like, hey, like, let's play basketball in the street until the lights come on, then we're gonna go home.
Yeah, that's a good point. It seems like more kids today with the advent, and social media wasn't we had MySpace growing up, but it wasn't really a big thing.
AOL
AOL,
and MySpace were the biggest things,
anyways,
and I never had that.
it seems like today kids are more secluded, and it's something that needs to change.
Definitely. So many parents are okay with their kids just spending countless hours in front of a computer screen
And social media has definitely, with the access and advent of social media, it seems like bullying. It's bullying more. It's more easier to bully somebody, because back in our day, if you got bullied directly at school. And now it seems like you're getting bullied directly at school, and then you're coming home and you just want to, go on Facebook or your Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, and talk to your friends, and you're just getting bullied more.
For sure. And I think, like, a lot of what has to do with that is instead of taking this like, hey, stand up for yourself approach in parenting, it's all, well, go tell a teacher about the bully and see what they can do. Oh, go tell the principal. And I'm not saying snitching's like this horrible thing at that age, but it definitely, the kids nowadays are a lot softer. They can't handle as much. They don't have that thick skin that I had growing up.
Well, and I think a reason that kids are quote unquote softer is because they're more secluded, they're more alone. We got parents that are more worried about, and this pisses me off talking about it. There's just not enough parenthood in a kid's life. They're more worried about what is Betsy's new fucking nail job, or or what's my sports team done. We got too many people in their phones. And me working at a restaurant, you go out with somebody, you're there to have dinner and interact with them, and I see parents having their kids and families, and you're there to interact with them, but I see people on their phones rather than interacting with their family. And like my dad said, there's just not enough family dinners, man. There's more, it's people being secluded. There's not enough, hey son, how's your day going? And this is the question I got to ask you. Where was this coward's parents, when he was thinking about this? And there was, things brought up to the FBI. He was investigated by the FBI before he committed this. Where was the FBI? Where was his parents? Where were the FBI? This kid, like Columbine, the suspects of Columbine built and detonated and tested 150 pipe bombs on their own property. So how do you get away with that as a parent? Parents, talk to your kids, frequent room checks. If your kid seems like they're depressed, fucking take them to a goddamn doctor. And there's so much things we can do to prevent this. It's not just guns. Yeah, guns, it ties into it. But like I said, it's how we're handling it. It's how we're raising our youth. People have no fucking, there's people starting to have no value for life. So
no, for sure. And I know a lot of kids who's like a vast majority of their knowledge of the firearms comes from playing Call of Duty, or comes from whatever violent video game they're playing. And I mean, I'm not saying I never played them. I enjoy violent video games. I enjoy first person shooters, but I know the
it's
value
fantasy.
of life. I know, okay, a firearm, if I pointed at you,
Mm-hmm.
you have every right to think like I'm coming at you with violent intent.
Right.
I know, like, if I pull this trigger, if I turn the safety off, if I pull the trigger, I will kill you. Like, I will either violently maim you or kill you. And a lot of kids don't have that education on how to use a firearm, how to, like, what it can do to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. You're not teaching firearm safety. You're not teaching the value of life. You're not teaching the value of violence.
So what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you a clip that was taken by a kid on Snapchat during this shooting. And for you guys on screen, the video is going to be up so you guys can react and comment on it as well. And just to give you guys a little background, if you haven't really looked into it, the premise of the shooting was this coward pulled the fire alarm. And of course, in school you have monthly fire drills, so it's time to evacuate. And as soon as these kids evacuated, he lit them up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up this clip, and I want you to react to it, and I want everybody at home to react to it and leave your thoughts in the comments. All right, you ready?
Holy.
Oh my God!
All right, so after seeing that clip, what was your initial response?
I don't know, dude. I mean, I've been around firearms a lot in my life, and I mean,
It seems like he was getting some shots off pretty damn quick.
He definitely put them up. Like he was putting rounds down real quick. Like I said, I mean, I understand like a fight, a war zone, but going out and shooting kids, like I'm pretty
fucking baffled, man.
That's
between Vegas, Parkland, San Bernardino County, everything, America, we got to do something. And the fact, and I'm not a big political person. I don't want this podcast to be surrounded by political debates. But the fact that our president had thought, had the balls to use this to fuel his own ego, it pissed me off, man.
I mean, for sure, but I mean that's every politician. That's every
Sure,
celebrity
sure.
who thinks they have a basis of a political
And
platform, and
it's not just the politicians, people on Facebook, to get their likes, get their comments, they used it for their own political platform. And the fact that I scroll through fucking Facebook and I see pictures and livelihood pictures of the shooter rather than the victims, it really gets to me,
no,
man.
definitely. I hate that people share more of like this dude's face, like oh he's arrested, oh he's a ginger. I don't care. At this point, the victim's dead to me. He could be erased off the face of the earth, and we'd be better for it. I want to hear about how this football coach is going to use his body to shield the lives of students. Like that's something that should be celebrated, or at least,
talked about.
Yeah, definitely more so than.
And he's an absolute fucking hero for that, and I really hope he's all of the victims are in a better place, and kudos to him, man, for really putting himself out there, man. This is dedicated to y'all for sure. So what we're going to talk about now is prevention and how we believe as members of the media of how we can prevent this thing to go forward from going forward. Obviously, the big debate is guns versus mental health. I think it's a little bit of both. The AR-15 is the big debate right now. Me personally, I don't believe AR-15s or any gun. I'm a big Second Amendment believer. I'm a big guns right activist. I don't believe AR-15 should be banned. However, I feel like we need to make it a little bit harder to get your hands on semi-automatic weapon. For anyone to get their hands on semi-automatic weapons. So, how would you, if you were talking to a congressman or a politician, how would you bring it to them of how we can prevent future tragedies?
I mean, dude, I'd drop names real quick, like Sandy Hook, Parkland,
Columbine.
Something's got to change, dude.
Virginia Tech happened on my birthday, man.
Virginia Tech, like, I mean, something's got to change. Like, obviously, it's not establishing more gun-free zones. That's not helping, because you can read the sign. You can read the sign that says stop. You can see the stoplight that's red. That doesn't mean I'm not going to go through it.
Criminals are criminals for a reason. It's because they do not follow laws.
Easily. I mean, if you take away guns, you're taking them away from law-abiding citizens.
Correct.
You're taking them away from the people that are going to follow the rules.
You're taking weapons or guns from people who are going to ultimately protect kids in this situation.
The USA is top 5 out of all countries for violent mass shootings. If you take away 4 cities with the strictest gun laws, Chicago, Washington, New Orleans, and Detroit, for the strictest gun laws there are in the country.
And if you look at countries like Australia, they haven't had a violent mass shooting since I was born in the year of 1996.
But like I'm saying, you take away those 4 cities, with these supposedly strictest gun laws in the country, we drop to second to last.
So the next big question is whether we should arm teachers or not.
I think that's something you could at least allow them a choice. Because I had teachers who were veterans, who were 20-year vets and just decided, I want to teach. I want to better the youth. Those are dudes that can have a gun. They keep them in their cars anyway. I mean, that's somebody who should have a firearm.
Right.
Or at least give them the choice to, hey, if you want to have this in your desk, you're obviously trustworthy enough to have a firearm on you. I mean,
it's sad that it's gotten to this point, but I think, we have fire drills, tornado drills. I feel like it sucks, but look, back in the Cold War when they had fallout drills, Cold War drills and such. I think we need to have mass shooting drills. We need to get kids aware. We need to,
establish a protocol to keep them safer.
Establish a protocol plan.
I totally agree, 100% with you, dude. Like I said, I mean, arming a teacher should definitely be the choice of a teacher. This is not something that should be forced upon them.
Right.
But I mean, something's got to change. Whether it be stricter common sense gun laws that whoever's pushing, or whether it be, hey, give these dudes a choice to if they want to arm themselves.
And the politicians are not gonna change us. We, as American people, as an American society, are gonna be the ones who have to change. People, if you're depressed, you're having suicidal, homicidal thoughts. I'm not saying it's okay, but reach out to somebody. And for these kids out here bullying other kids, knock that shit off. Because if you go up to a kid who is going through depression, he's going through a hard time in his personal life, and you just ask him or her how their day is going, or something along those lines, that can keep somebody from snapping. So if you're a bully, if you're a fucking coward, please knock the shit off.
100%, dude. I mean, I'm all about like teasing. I'm all about jokes. I'll call you a dickhead right now. I'll call you a pussy to your face. But the thing is, you know me. You know that's
right.
That's out of humor. That's out of like my friendship with you is just based around us slaying the fuck out of each other. But other people aren't like that, and I guess you do have to common sense. Like, yeah, he's not gonna take that very well. I shouldn't say that to him. You're going to take it well. You're going to laugh about it. You're going to call me a bitch back to my face. We'll laugh about it, and then we'll just, go hang out and smoke weed. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And, like we said, we definitely got to do something. I really want you guys as listeners to open this discussion. Keep it clean. Keep it nice up in the comment section. This is definitely something that needs to be talked about. Vegas was huge, but this is getting out of fucking hand. It's time, right? It was time 4 or 5 mass shootings ago to draw the fucking line in the sand about this shit.
I thought Sandy Hook was the line in the
I'm
sand.
honestly worried for your children and my children in the future.
I know, and that's the scary thing. It's like I'm worried about my kids 10, 20 years from now. Like I have to they have to go to public school. I mean, unless I hit the lottery and I just decide, like, yeah, you'll go to, like, a nice little Catholic school or something, a little private school, and do great things with your life. But if they go to public school, like, am I going to be afraid of them getting on the bus? Am I going to be afraid of them just hanging out and studying in their first period class? I shouldn't be. Like, no parent should be afraid to put their kid on a public bus and send them to a public school and allow them to learn. And that's the scary thing. That's the truly horrendous thing and the biggest injustice that this has created, is that you're now opening the door for kids to fear just being in school, which was something I never had to worry about, something you never had to worry about, something our parents never worried about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the really sick part of this, I think.
So yeah, I want you guys definitely open up the comments about this section. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. We honestly just wanted to get a quick episode out and just dedicate it to the victims. Just take time to talk about this because, like you said, it's definitely things that need to be talked about. This episode is completely dedicated to the victims. Our prayers and thoughts are with you. We are 100% with you. If there's, honestly, I was thinking about starting a GoFundMe page, something along those lines to just help the family and the victims out. I mean, it's a horrific tragedy. It's something that needs to stop. You as a parent, you want to send your kids off to school knowing that they're going to learn how to be productive members of society and not be shot in the fucking process. So is there anything else you would like to say, Mr. Tone, before we wrap this motherfucker up?
This is definitely one of the somberest episodes we'll put out. Thoughts and prayers with the victims and their families. I hope y'all are in a better place, and I hope that something in the coming months and years will be done to prevent future tragedies like this. Love you guys. Fucking keep listening, like, share, subscribe, all that.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody listening today. It's been a very somber episode, but I feel like we hit home on some topics. So if there's anything else that we need to talk about, please drop it in the comment section below. We are very, very open-minded to ideas. Like I said, thank you for listening today. This is the Two Real Buds podcast, and we are out.